Good morning, sixth graders. We're back on Play Pause It. Um, we're going to go to the next lesson for our textbook, and it's kind of continuing off of the water cycle. Um, but now we're getting more into human impacts on Earth's water, which we have been looking at, but now we're going to get into lesson 9 of the textbook. This is, as you can see here, this is a reading mainly lesson. So I'm going to plug in some questions and just kind of read the most important parts of this lesson. So we're going to listen and we will answer the questions together. So, human impacts on Earth's water. Humans interact with water every day. Some interactions improve water quality while others have negative impacts. Unfortunately, the water people want to use is not always in the right place or the right quality. And although the water cycle has been active since billions of years before humans even existed, human activities can affect how the water cycle redistributes Earth's water. Hydrologists, and here's a picture here. Hydrologists are scientists that study how water moves around the Earth. They help us find new sources of water, monitor water quality, and determine best practices for water use and restoration. Hydrologists and engineers also work together to determine how to monitor or measure and keep track of contaminant levels in the water, and mitigate, which means to lessen the impact of contaminants. So mitigate and monitor, two new vocab words. If you look here, our guiding question today is how can we mitigate modern society's harmful effects on Earth's water, which means how can we start saving more water and be better with the water that we have instead of pollute and contaminate it. Okay. So this reading, we're going to skip this reading. It's about the water cycle, condensation, evaporation. Please remember to review that chart in the week 3. And we're just going to keep reading. We're going to go to the human impacts part, most important things. Human impact on the water cycle. People impact these processes because human activities use a lot of water. Sometimes when we use water, we alter the local balance of the water cycle. For instance, when we dam a river, it forms a lake and reduces water flow in the river downstream. In the lake, water evaporates more rapidly or quickly, and in the smaller river, less water is available. When we remove lots of water from lakes or rivers, the areas around the lakes and rivers have less water available and are more likely to experience drought. This can have devastating consequences for the organisms that live there. We also extract groundwater stored deep below the surface to use for a variety of purposes. Once on the surface, that water can evaporate more easily. Evaporation usually comes from that water right on the surface. Okay. As you have probably read or heard on the news, measurements from across the globe indicate the average temperature at Earth's surface is increasing. Evidence also indicates that various greenhouse gases added to the atmosphere by human activities, in particular carbon dioxide, are a cause of this global warming trend. This rise in average temperature has already affected the natural balance of the water cycle. Increased melting of glaciers and ice sheets has increased the amount of water and decreased the amount of ice because the Earth is warming up, so we're losing ice and we're getting more water because the ice is melting. Human activities that affect the amount of evaporation or condensation that occurs can also affect the amount of clouds that form. Clouds both cool and warm the Earth. Clouds can reflect the sun rays back into space, causing surface temperatures to be cooler. Clouds can also act as a blanket, keeping surface temperatures warmer. While we don't exactly know what changes will occur, evidence makes it clear that human activities are causing changes. These changes are considered a major factor in the increase in severe weather events such as storms, hurricanes, floods, droughts, and wildfires. In other words, our activities are changing the climate.